You're listening to the Unnamed podcast with Midnight Lunatic, available on Anchor.fm and Spotify.com. And without further ado, here is your host, Midnight Lunatic.
Hello, Midnight Crew, and welcome to Season 3. We made it. We're here. We're doing it. And we're going to start this off right. Yes, you heard that right. I have a special guest with me today. And I'm pretty sure you guys should know him by now. He's been on the podcast before. And again, he's with me. We had some other plans going on, but, some things happen, show must go on. So, without further ado, let's bring in my special guest.
You're listening to the Unnamed podcast with your host, Midnight Lunatic. Well, there you go. That's me. I'm Matt Riley, Matt Riley Films, Matt Modify. I go by a bunch of different stuff, but I'm also the voice, the unofficial voice of the Unnamed podcast.
Yes. You guys always ask, who does your intros? Who does it? Now you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've said this by now, too. I'm pretty sure I said it in a previous episode. But, yeah, you're the one, you're the voice, you're the guy.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. And I think we were on last time with Brandon. And, I guess he was supposed to be our additional member today. But, we'll rock the show on his behalf. And maybe next time he'll be able to make it on.
I mean, I'm hoping, man. I mean, I would love to have all three of us again. It was fun last time. A lot of people enjoyed it. That was today my most viewed episode. Everyone enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's always good to get difference of opinion in there and just other insight from other people on there. So yeah, it's always good stuff. It's always fun. I'm always down to collaborate with everybody.
Well, Matt, before we get into today's topics, you know what we have to do, right?
I might have a little bit of an inkling.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you know, then you know. That's right. We got to start it off right. Fact of the week.
It's everybody's favorite time of the week. It's time for the fact of the week.
Matt, this is an interesting one. I'm pretty sure you didn't even know this. Okay? All right, I'm going to read it right now. Did you know that Coca-Cola kills insects?
I can't say that I know that it kills insects. I did know that people actually use it to clean things. Apparently it cleans things very well, like toilet bowls and stuff like that.
I heard about that too, yes. I never tried it.
Yeah, apparently it works. I mean, I guess if you're in the market to spend more on Coca-Cola than just like something made for your toilet to clean, I mean, I guess if you're on that bougie tip, I guess you can clean your toilet bowl with Coca-Cola because it'll work,
I mean, I've never really been a fan of Coca-Cola. Like, I don't drink sodas as much as I used to. Like, and dark sodas like Coca-Cola, I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not a soda guy either. I drink a lot of flavored water, so they don't have anything in it. No sugar, no corn syrup, no high fructose, none of that stuff. It's just flavored water with little hints of fruit in it, and it works for me,
Yeah, I mean, I usually drink like Powerade and stuff. Like that's my to-go-to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, Coca-Cola kills insects. I never knew that. Interesting.
So what about it? What about it kills it? Do you spray it on something, or do they you put it out in a bowl and they land in it and then they drown, or what's the deal? Is it? I'm
not too sure actually. It doesn't really say here. Huh. But I mean, every time I leave Coca-Cola out somewhere, there's a bunch of ants. So I don't necessarily know how that works.
Yeah, maybe sugar overload. Maybe they consume too much sugar for their bodies and they just pop. I don't know.
You might be right. I don't know. I've never seen an ant's head pop off like that before. It'd be kind of cool and interesting to watch too. I don't know.
Yeah, a little morbid, but you know.
Hey, You gotta have a little fun sometimes.
Yeah, take it back to the days where you used the magnifying glass and you
Exactly.
were
That's what I was
just
gonna say.
burning ants. See, I used to do this weird thing as a kid, and I guess that explains how messed up I am as a person. I used to take a pocket knife and I used to cut their butts off,
What?
and they would run around without their butts.
What in
So
the
they look
world?
like ants, but without their butts. I don't know. I was a screwed up kid. I mean, I never did anything, anything really bad to animals, and I love animals. But for whatever reason, I was doing that at some point, and I still remember that in my mind. So I don't know.
I mean, were these like big ants? Because like, how are you able to dissect them like that? Like,
Well, I guess it's whatever type of red ant has just that little butt to them. They have that little back end. I just cut that clean off of them.
okay, so it's
And
it's the bigger ones then.
yeah. I guess not teeny tiny, but not like giant like an army ant, but just
Right.
kind of like a bigger red ant. I just cut the booty off. I don't know.
Oh man, that reminds me of a horror story I went through. I don't know if I ever told you this. I'm honestly not even really comfortable sharing this, but I'm going to anyways.
A
So
horror story you went through?
yes, I went through.
Wow.
I lived through it. So I was
Wow.
playing outside of my backyard, and this was years ago. Like I was, like 10 or 11 at the time. I was playing in my backyard. Did not realize that there was an ant pile like in the backyard, and it was big ant pile too, like ants everywhere.
Right.
Apparently, they crawled up my pants and bit me in an area. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Bit me in a certain area twice.
Ooh.
Twice I got bit, and I felt it, and I was like, it stings. I didn't know what it was at the time. I thought it was just like, like an ingrown hair or something. I didn't know what it was. So I went inside. I went to the bathroom. I dropped my pants, and sure enough, there was an ant right there. And I was like, oh no. And so I panicked. I freaked out, and I swatted it away, and I killed it. And oh man, the pain afterwards was horrible.
Was it a fire ant?
No. Luckily, it wasn't a fire ant, but
Okay.
like,
Well,
man,
good.
it still burnt like a ton. It stung. It felt like I got like stung by like a bee.
Yeah. I mean, you figure it hurts when they bite you on the foot. So if they, if they bite you somewhere extra sensitive,
Yes.
I could see how it wouldn't be a recipe for a good time.
Oh, it was horrible, and to this day, it haunts me. It still haunts me.
You wake up at night with like cold sweats and stuff. You're like, oh god,
Oh,
the ant.
I can't look at ants the same way no more.
You look at them and you're just like side eyeing them. You're like, I know what one of your brethren had done to me. I know what you did.
Oh yeah, I feel like they're out to get me now. They
You're like,
try to
I know
take away
what-
my manhood.
I know what you did that summer, ant.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, man. I don't know how to deal with that. But anyways, well, to start off our today's topics, PS5. We talked about that last time. We didn't really have a lot of information to work off of, but now we do.
Right,
I'm not
yeah.
sure if you saw like the reveal when it happened.
I didn't see it when it happened, but I did catch some of the highlights. I'm kind of in the weird demographic where I was like late to the PlayStation show. I haven't had a PlayStation since PS2 for me, and I lost that in Katrina because I'm originally from New Orleans, so I didn't think to bring that when everything was going down. So I haven't had a PlayStation up until recently when Brandon gifted me a PS4, and I'm still in awe that he surprised me with that. That was just the nicest gift I had ever gotten from a friend, and I'm still loving that. Like I've abandoned completely my Xbox One. Like I haven't turned that thing on since I got my PS4.
Same. Mhm.
So I saw the highlights, but I tried not to personally invest too much in the PS5 because I have a feeling it's going to be quite some time before I divulge into it, and I know seeing all the bells and whistles and how great it's going to be is just going to pique an interest that maybe I'm not ready for yet. So I didn't see too much into it, but I did see a little bit of the highlight captures of it.
Right. So like for me, I was planning on pre-ordering it. I even signed up for the exclusive like pre-orders whenever they went live. And then I
Right.
started thinking about it. Like, I don't want to pre-order a console that it's not really going to have a ton of games out, for it.
Right.
Like they're supposed to be. I think they said like close to almost 30 games that are supposed to be out like as soon as it comes out. But there were games that like I don't see myself playing or getting into. You
They
know,
always do that. I think they take like a safety net where they release the stuff that's kind of like meh because they
mm-hmm.
don't want to, they don't want to jump the gun in case the system has issues and stuff, so they don't want to drop their heavy hitters until they know for sure everything's like, golden and ready to go.
Yeah,
So,
and that's
yeah.
another thing too that like kind of worried me. Like we saw it in the PS4s when they first dropped. There was a lot of
Mhm.
mechanical issues with them.
Right.
And that's gonna happen with this one.
Oh yeah. Well, I think most new technology, it's you kind of divulge into like a scary place when you want to be some of the first to get it. You take that, you roll that dice, you take that chance of potentially getting the problematic systems because at this point you figure they've only done so much testing on their end until it gets in the hands of the actual consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And the consumer, that's when things will start kind of showing face that maybe they didn't look for just from like you know uh, hours of gameplay or prolonged system being left on, never turning it off kind of stuff. I
Right.
think that's where more of that stuff kind of shows its face rather than what they could ever do in testing on their end.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, so we do know that it is going to be released on November. What is it? The 12th, I believe.
Mm.
And there's two of them. There's the standard PS5, and then there's the digital edition. The standard is going to cost a whopping $500, while the digital edition will cost only $399.
Yeah, I was surprised to see. I was really hoping that they weren't gonna kind of like go crazy and charge something ridiculous, like kind of like a smartphone price. I was really hoping they would keep it kind of what people are used to, and I was like, I was really surprised that, and I guess thankfully, Sony stayed within their comfort zone and they didn't try to gouge people, especially in this time in the world where people don't have that kind of money to drop on a system like that.
Right. And what kind of disappointed me too was the fact that I mean, if you saw like Xbox Series S,
Hmm.
like their price is $299. And that's their new Xbox like digital version, and
Right.
it's only $299, which I think is a great deal if you ask me, because you're still gonna get like the high performance of the new Xbox generation, but you're paying less, for it. And I
Hmm.
think, that's a smart way to go. And I think Xbox has kind of like the up on PlayStation on that. But at the same time, like with the Xbox Series S, you're only getting half a terabyte of storage as compared to the PS5, which is still determined, it still needs to be announced.
Yeah, I was looking, kind of when we were talking, I was looking and I see here as of 5 days ago, it looks like a Tech Radar article. They say that the internal storage is going to be a custom 825 gig SSD. I'm seeing that, and then I'm also seeing where, in comparison to the Xbox One S, it seems like the processor in the PS5 is quite a bit better than the Xbox One S, surprisingly, because it looks like the GPU for the PS5 is showing 10.28 teraflops or T-flops, as they say, where it looks like on the processor on the Xbox One S shows 1.4
Mm-hmm.
T-flops. So that's way behind what the PS5 is, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah. Well, I think the on the like the storage size, you did say it was 825. I believe that's
Yeah.
for the standard edition. I don't. I'm
Mm.
telling you, I don't think they've released any information of the storage size on the digital edition.
Yeah, they might not have. Yeah, I mean, it's not specifying so much as
But I mean, if you really think about it, the way PlayStation's downloads are set up, like a lot of games are between 40 gigs and up to 100. So people are going to need that storage, especially if they're doing all digital, no disc. They're going to need that storage. And I get $400 for this digital. I would imagine they would have to at least do like a terabyte to like 2 terabytes. That's what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you figure I would think they're going to obviously have the external add-on, just like PS4 has, to where you can hook up an external device to it. Considering the elimination of discs, obviously, yeah, storage space is going to be significant, especially with like how the previous generation kind of almost forces you. No, I'm gonna take back almost. They force you to download the game despite having the disc. So when you eliminate the disc entirely, then everything is going on said hard drive.
Right.
So, it's definitely going to be something that, even if they don't account for it internally, they're going to have those options available for people, because the games are going to be that much bigger now, because none of it is going to be on a disc.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I mean, for my PS4, like most of my games are digital. Like I rarely have disc games. So for me, like I had to have I think it's a 2 terabyte hard drive connected to mine. And even with like the 2 terabyte, I still cannot download all the games that I have. And I have like close to 300 games.
Mm-hmm.
And the games that I do have, they're pretty big games. Like I'm talking like Madden, I'm talking baseball, I'm talking basketball, Call of Duties, like multiple Call of Duties. Like these are big games we're talking about. And 2 terabytes, like it takes it over quick.
And you got to figure too, with the PS5, like they're announcing that it will support 8K graphics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So 8K, 4K is already immensely huge, and then now we're talking 8K with 3D audio. That's going to be even bigger than the already big file sizes.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see.
Let's say you did have the option to go with the PS5 standard or the PS5 digital edition. Which one would you do?
I mean,
if money was no object, like if you can just straight up just buy it, whatever you want.
Yeah, the old school side of me, I like having a cartridge, or I like having a piece of physical, because that to me shows that I own this. Mm-hmm. My biggest fear is, and I kind of encountered it briefly, which I know we'll talk more about this later, but when I lost power last month, or internet rather at this point, got power back, didn't have internet, I can't play anything that relies on having to have access to the internet for it being digitally downloaded. And that's very frustrating, and it also kind of worries me too. Like if something on, the PlayStation Network or the Xbox Live or, whatever platform, if that were to all just go away tomorrow, I would no longer have any of the games that I purchased. Mm-hmm. So that's why the digital side kind of worries me a little bit. I would steer toward the digital side, obviously. If money wasn't an option, you might as well go big or go home kind of thing. But that's my biggest worry with digital, is because I feel like I don't own the cartridge or the disc or the actual medium for the disc or for the game. So that's why it kind of worries me a little bit. I mean, the chances of that happening are slim, but at some point, something could tank, and then you just lost all of what you paid money for. You don't have anything to show for it because it was all digital. So that's the thing, the side of it that I'm worried about. But I mean, if you don't put that into the equation and money's not an option, I mean, obviously go with the digital, because that's going to be the better option, and you don't have to worry about changing out discs and changing out media and stuff like that. So the convenience is obviously there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of games, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, but Xbox buys the Bethesda brand. Or Bethesda. Yeah. How do you pronounce it? Bethesda. I can't even pronounce it.
Well, I mean, I'm not Yeah, I think it's Bethesda to my knowledge, but I mean, I could stand to be wrong too. I
Bethesda,
don't know,
Bethesda,
but
either one.
yeah, yeah. Either way, yeah. That was news to me. I hadn't heard anything about that, and that's a very big power move. I would think they stand to potentially, um, they stand to make things better that Bethesda has suffered in, and then they also stand to make things worse. So it's kind of like I hope the better of the two happen because Bethesda produces amazing games, but that have a lot of problems. Like games like Skyrim and
Mm-hmm.
Oblivion and all those kind of games like that. Like they were phenomenally popular games, but they had so many problems internally when you were playing. It would freeze all the time
Right.
and lock up and do all these wonky. People would just be walking in the town and then fly off into the sky, and you'd be like, "What?" So it's it they stand to have the power of Microsoft behind them. They stand to be able to make things much better for these next gen consoles. But then the other side of it is if they don't apply the appropriate resolutions to set issues, things could get a whole lot worse. So I hope for them though that the buyout or the absorption or whatever way it went about, I hope that it can better things for Bethesda in the future, opposed to just kind of adding to the problems that are already kind of known, kind of inside jokes. If you've ever played a Bethesda game, it's always like oh well, I know that there goes Bethesda with the
Mm-hmm.
the game with the wonky whatever happening,
What
and
don't all their
yeah.
games like run off servers?
Uh,
Isn't that like the problem? Like most of their games run off servers, so like if something happens within the server, that's why the game messes up.
that I'm not too positive on. I mean, I know a lot of the games, Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff like that. I don't think you're playing on any kind of server or anything. Games like BioShock, that was them too. I don't think any of that really runs off any kind of servers, to my knowledge. Like I
I
said, I
mean,
mean, I could be wrong. I don't completely know, but I don't think so. Most of their multiplayer stuff, I'm sure it probably does.
they do have
But
Fallout.
yeah, and Fallout, you got the Fallout franchise. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they stand to make better. These games were amazing games. They just had wonky like performance things that would happen in the games, and that affects the overall playing of the game. If you're playing this game for hours on end and then it locks up before you could have saved, you got to go do all that again.
Yes,
Like
that's happened to
my
me.
fiance is like she's like a hardcore Skyrim, BioShock, like she
Mm-hmm.
plays them every so often again, like all the way through, just and she experiences things like that too, where she'll be playing for a while and then the game will lock up and then she'll have to go back and do all that stuff again. She'll be like, all right, I'm done for now. I'm not doing all that again. I just spent all this time doing this and I'm gonna have to do it all again. I'll pick it up later, and that's discouraging.
Right.
So um
Yeah, I mean that's happened to me before, especially with like games like Skyrim. You
mhm.
know, it was to the point where it was too laggy. I would get stuck at certain parts where like it would tell me to go talk to someone, and then when I get there, it doesn't show any mission available. Things like that. It just really annoyed me and just really like took my interest away from the game, and I just never wanted to play again. Even though
Yeah.
they're amazing games, it's just problems like that are annoying.
Yeah, I mean the technical aspects, affect the overall performance of the game too. So the game could be the best game of all time, but if it has wonky stuff like that happening in it, then that's gonna I'm just gonna turn it off. I'm not gonna go do all that again.
Well,
So
as far as a business move, I mean, Xbox bought it for $7.5 billion. You think that's a smart move on their part? I mean, they had just announced this one day before the pre-sales went live.
yeah, I mean, considering what they stand to gain from all the franchises that they did get with Bethesda, I don't think it was a bad move. I just hope they do the right thing in, like I said, improving the performance of things. If they just absorbed all these great titles and these great games, and then they don't do anything better for them, I don't see what the benefit of absorbing it was. If you're just going to, reap the benefits, but then the players suffer the same as they were before they were, under Microsoft.
So what's going to happen with like people that have it on PlayStation? Are servers going to get shut down? You know,
True.
do you think they're going to get shut down? I know a lot of people are a fan of Skyrim and Fallout, Doom, you know, games like that. Like, they're going to have to make that switch over to Xbox just to even play those games like now, you know, like the Elder Scrolls 6, you know, that's going to be available via the Game Pass on Xbox at launch. So, like, in order to play those games, they would have to get an Xbox. But then you also have those people that, like, are so against Xbox that they don't want to make that switch, but at the same time, they love those games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. I don't know if they're going to have, you know, I mean, Microsoft being Microsoft, obviously, you know, they're going to kind of, you know, be able to kind of have that you know, kind of swinging the pork chop over your head kind of thing, like, if you really like these games, you're gonna have to come over here because these are now exclusives, and you know, PlayStation's got their exclusives and we already had ours, but now we got these, you know. So I could see that possibly you know, creating a little bit of turbulence among other platforms, because yeah, all those titles were available on PS4 and PlayStation 2. So, I mean, that's also a thing that'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't see them necessarily making agreements with Sony to allow those titles. I see them being kind of you know, older a-hole big brother and being like, oh, well, you know, we bought them, so they're ours now.
I mean, it kind of seems like that's what they're doing, though. That's the reason why they did that, was just to get more of an exclusive kind of big brand to their name. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I guess time will tell, but it'll be interesting to see what route they go in, because oof, that's gonna be a rough thing. It's gonna get real messy. Oh yeah.
Well, how about we take a short break real quick, and we'll come back right after this message.
Sounds good. Tired of listening to the same old boring podcast bull? Then tune in to the Unnamed podcast, available on Anchor.fm and Spotify.com.
All right, so we are back here. Man, it's been interesting so far. We got the PS5, we got Xbox by Bethesda. I mean, we're talking big things over here. Now,
oh yeah.
So hear me out. Hear me out. This is probably something that's gonna blow your mind. Did you know that the you know, have you ever seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
I do. I'm not like an avid Fresh Prince fan, but I did kind of go through a little phase where I watched it kind of here and there. I love Will Smith. I'm a big Will Smith fan. I loved all his movies. I mean, I'm convinced you could put Will Smith in anything, and he's entertaining just because he's entertaining as a person. But yeah, I did hear something about Fresh Prince. What was it?
So you know The Mansion, right?
Right.
So apparently, Will Smith and the Airbnb team is now renting out the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air mansion.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you can now rent it out.
That's interesting.
I don't know how much it is, but I mean, to spend one night in that iconic place, that's got to be exciting.
Yeah, that's crazy. And while you're saying that, I'm kind of looking it up here. Let's see. Fresh Prince Mansion Airbnb. Let's see. Airbnb guests will be able to book one of those 5 nights for themselves and one guest for a maximum occupancy of 2 people. 2 people in the whole mansion. And it says the price for a night's stay is only $30.
Wow, that's cheap. That's cheaper than a hotel.
Yeah, it says $1 for each year that has passed since the show originally premiered.
And you're getting that for just 2 people? Like 2 people in one mansion. That's a lot of space for $30.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't know what the waiting list is going to look like for that.
Oh, it's got to be super long.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I mean, it kind of blew my mind when I read that. I was like, there's no way, because, you know, we talked a couple weeks back about how Blockbuster is now, you know, Airbnb also. and now you got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air mansion that's also part of Airbnb.
Right.
Like it's crazy. It's mind blowing to see, and for that price, $30, like that's a steal. That is a steal.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It seems like they're saying that the bookings are going to be extremely limited. And this is according to like a Washington Post article that they did on it. Um, and they're saying like Will's wing of the mansion will only be available to Los Angeles County residents for 5 one-night stays during October. So they do have some stipulations. They're not going to let the old average Joe go in there for $30. You know, some California like crackhead or just somebody just kind of wanting to get in there and possibly wreck everything for $30. Right. So they are doing their due diligence and keeping things.
So they'll probably have like security in there and cameras set up and everything.
Right. Yeah. It looks like it says the Banks family won't be on site to lay down the law, but you're staying under their roof, so you got to follow their rules. And their rules, it looks like, I mean, they're not too terrible. Not too terrible. I mean, no smoking, no pets, no parties or events.
Understandable.
No infants, so nobody under 2.
I mean, you don't want poop or pee anywhere.
Yeah, you know how they destroy everything. Little terrible people. Let's see. Check in after 3 p.m. Let's see. Oh wow. Okay. They're gonna have 24/7 security to ensure your safety.
Okay. All right.
That's interesting. Food. They're gonna have food for you. It says food fit for royalty will be provided. So let us know if you have any allergies.
That was the next question.
Yeah. Let's see. Parking's available at the mansion. Note that they're not able to provide transportation to and from, so make sure that you prepare for that with your trip. Yeah, I mean, other than that, it doesn't seem like it's like they're locking you down to anything that a hotel wouldn't, or just the average Airbnb wouldn't. So,
I mean, I would be excited, and if I lived in the LA area, I'd be all over that. Just to even experience going inside the mansion where like the show was filmed and everything, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be an experience for sure. It would be pretty cool.
Well, so speaking of things in the world, TikTok. You've heard of TikTok, right?
Yeah, I've gotten little hints of TikTok. Yeah, I've heard of it.
So get this. So I talked about how I was just so against TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my roommate convinced me to download it, and so I did. And man, I can't get away from it. I can't. It got me. It hooked me.
From a content creator standpoint, it's not my bag of tea. I've tried, and I'm not part of the TikTok algorithm. I can't make TikTok content. I've tried.
Oh, no, I don't do it either. I look at people's.
Yes, that on the other hand is a very deep rabbit hole that you go down when you start watching them, because they just kind of roll into each other. Like it's just funny after funny after funny, yes. Or it's nonstop with 3 hours will go by and you'll look up and be like, wow, okay, I've been doing this for 3 hours.
Yep. That was me on my first day. I was, I got home from work and he was like, man, you got to check out TikTok. Like you're missing out on so much great stuff. And I was like, man, okay, let me just try it out. See what all the hup's about. I downloaded it. I thought it was like 30 minutes passing by. Nope. A good 5 hours went by. When I looked outside, it was nighttime. I was like, wait, where am I? How did this happen? Did I just time travel? Like it was kind of scary. It's kind of scary. And what's weird is like there's a lot of interesting stuff on there. Like a lot of interesting stuff. Like for me, like on my my page whenever I first open it up, yeah, I get a lot of like UFO videos.
Mm-hmm.
Or like scary videos.
Right.
And like all these like different types of like conspiracy theories, and I'm like, where did these come from? You know,
Interesting.
like I never once clicked on anything like that, but then all of a sudden they just started showing up. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, that's weird. And
Yeah,
now it's nothing but that.
yeah, I think, I mean, the algorithm kind of learns from what you've seen, so it thinks that you want to see more of that. So if you've watched some of those kind of things, it's gonna keep giving you more because that's what what it's assuming that you want to see more of.
Right. So
Yeah.
you know how President Trump was trying to get TikTok banned, right?
Right. Yeah, he wasn't a fan. They were doing a little too good of a job of making fun of him on there, and I think he kind of was a little sore loser about it, if you ask me.
Right, right. I mean, it all came from them like thinking that TikTok was going to be like a security threat. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much like the main reason why he wanted it to get banned. And what's funny is this past Sunday was the day that it was supposed to be banned. And to be honest, I have not checked the apps to see if it was actually taken off the stores or not.
Mm-hmm.
But we can say that Oracle has chosen to partner as TikTok text partner because Microsoft actually rejected buying TikTok. There was actually talks of Microsoft buying TikTok, but
Right.
they backed out, and so Oracle has now taken that lead and said, "Hey, hold on, before you make any of your final decisions, let's talk about this."
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I know. As of right now, as of today, when this is being recorded, it's number one in entertainment right now on the App Store for Apple. Still very much available. They just released an update 2 days ago, so it's still alive and popping. Um, so I guess he gave it the old college try, and as proving, just because you don't like something doesn't mean it just goes away. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean, man, at TikTok, it's crazy how much that app has just blown up. Like everywhere you go, it's TikTok videos everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
go on my Twitter timeline and I see TikToks. I go
Yeah.
on my Instagram, TikToks. I go on Facebook, TikToks. I go on YouTube, TikToks.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody's
It's
porting them over.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Yeah. It's nuts.
but I don't see how it would be a security threat because there's nothing really too much on there that will pose as a security threat. Like I don't understand.
I think more or less it was just the fact that I mean, anybody who, even if you're not politically affiliated or even in the now with politics or anything like that, I mean, he doesn't like anything with like Chinese in it.
Right.
And the fact that it was owned previously by a Chinese internet company, with ByteDance,
Yep.
that was all that needed to be thing. And then the fact that it was Chinese owned, he doesn't like Chinese people or China, or he's got all his reasons,
Right.
and that was the security threat. And the fact that he was actively being made fun of on there by impersonators, and people just making fun of him or
Mm-hmm.
taking things he said and humiliating him on there. So that's probably the bigger part, but he couldn't have said that. He had to act like it was a matter of national security,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was going to try to swing it that way, which, I mean, I don't see that they're collecting information on people. What, you're going to see that people like certain things over other things? That's not a security threat.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
even if they were to take it away from the app stores, what I've been hearing is that people that still have their accounts, they're still going to be able to use the app, but they're not going to be able to get any of the new updates. They're not going to be able to get any of the like new features that come that way to TikTok. So like anyone that does have an account, no, their account wouldn't be deleted. They just wouldn't get any of the new updates that come to TikTok.
that's interesting. I'm gonna see real quick while we're talking, if it'll let me update mine, because I have an update available for that right now, and I'm gonna see if, and we don't have to pause or anything while we're while I'm doing this because I'm just talking and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to see if it'll let me update it and see how that goes.
You know, what's funny too is the U.S. isn't the only one that had a problem with TikTok. You know, India also had that problem with TikTok, and they actually did ban it.
Mm-hmm. India's done that before with other forms of social media,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that has like a skew on. It's almost like a silence of free speech, where if you're saying anything against their government and they don't like it, or you're saying anything against the norm over there, they're quick to silence you. Very very dictator oriented with stuff like that.
Right, and it wasn't even just TikTok too. It was WeChat also.
Yeah.
WeChat also got banned, and I find that funny because I don't even know what WeChat is. Do you know?
I think it's it's a chat that's used in a lot of countries. I don't think we use it a whole lot. We use it. But it's it says it's a Chinese multi-purpose messaging, social media, and mobile payment app.
Okay.
So I guess like a Chinese version of kind of like Facebook Messenger. It seems like.
Okay.
So
kind of like a WhatsApp.
I guess kind of, yeah. I mean, it's got over 1 billion monthly active users on it, according just to Google search on it, and it's available in 17 languages.
Man,
so pretty versatile, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did successfully get the most recent update of TikTok on my phone with no problems. So,
all right, so yeah, it's not gone, I guess.
Alive and well.
The deal's not set in stone though, so I mean we could potentially see a ban coming if no agreement's reached.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, with the elections coming up here pretty soon, who knows? They might just trying to push it back into election day and see what happens after that. I just can't believe that I got so much into TikTok. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to do, especially as a consumer. Like I said, I tried the creative aspect of it, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong; it's fun to play around with all the cool little effects and filters and music and all the cool stuff you can do. But like and this is another thing that a lot of people don't know, and maybe I have the insight, being an editor and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that you see on TikTok is not made on TikTok. They're making it outside of TikTok and they're uploading it to TikTok. And you see a lot of that on Instagram too. Some of the content on Instagram is not shot via Instagram. Mm-hmm. It's, shot, edited, put all the special effects or music or whatever in it, and then you upload it to IGTV. Right. So there's a different component in there. But there is a lot of stuff because I know Will Smith has like a team of guys making his videos on there, and his stuff is crazy. He's doing some of the craziest, like if you follow his vlog channel on YouTube, he shows you like some of the behind the scenes of stuff he's doing, and he does crazy stuff. He's got teams of guys helping him make these awesome TikToks doing these crazy things. It really is pretty nuts, but a lot of people think it's done on the app, and it's not. So
yeah, I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've seen any of his TikToks or anything like that.
Oh, it's crazy. He makes some really funny, entertaining things, but he's just the face of it. He's got a team of people editing and shooting and all that good fun stuff for him. So,
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out. I mean, I'm a fan of Will Smith. I like what he does. The person that he is. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah, love him. He's a good person. I could believe he's a genuine person like he portrays himself. I don't think he's the kind of guy that, you catch him in an airport or something and you're like, "Hey, Will, what's up, man? Love your work. Can I get a picture real quick?" I don't think he's going to like side-eye you kind of thing. He'll be like, right. "Yeah, what's up, man? All right. Have a good day." Like real chill.
And a lot of celebrities are actually that way where like if you ask for like 2 seconds of their time, they will go off on you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of them just don't want to be bothered. They forget how they got where they are. The reason that is because of the fans. I get everybody has bad days. I get everybody's, maybe not in the right circumstance. If you're at dinner with your wife and somebody comes up like wanting to take your picture and all this kind of stuff, bad timing. Yes. They should have known better. But,
I mean, you just got to stay humble.
Yeah, you have to. You can't forget where you come from. No matter how high you climb up, you can't forget at some point you were at the bottom like everybody else.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, before we head out of here, you did say that you lost internet and everything. So I know that you were recently hit with a little of a tropical storm hurricane.
Yeah. She was an official hurricane. She was that was Hurricane Laura, and she did affect Louisiana where I'm from, and thankfully where we live, the part in Louisiana that we lived, we didn't get the catastrophic damage like parts of southern Louisiana did. There were damage done down there that there was nothing left. There were scraps of trees or scraps of house, or like they leveled areas down there. But thankfully, where we were, we did lose power. We were without power for 4, almost 5 days. Um, really uncomfortable sleeping arrangements in the heat. Uh, it was enough of an inconvenience. I mean, I was out of work for 4 days, so 4 days worth of no money. Um, it definitely was not a fun time by any means. But thankfully, we didn't have any kind of real damage on our end. We had some limbs down and stuff like that in the house that we rent and
Right.
things like that. But we
Yeah.
didn't have any big damage,
And,
thankfully.
and I kept like checking up on you like every day just to make sure that you were doing all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was I was worried. I was worried. I knew it
yeah,
was going to be a big one. So
yeah. And I mean, I've previously been through them before. I mean, like I said earlier, I'm from New Orleans. I've gone through Katrina. I've lost everything in Katrina. It's not my first rodeo, and it's not going to be the last until I get out of this state. Hopefully sooner than later. Because the hurricane thing, once you lose everything one time, that's enough for one lifetime. I
right.
don't want to keep going through this. I'm so over it, and I know no matter where you live, you got to deal with some form of Mother Nature's wrath, if you will.
Yeah.
But the hurricane thing, like I'm done with it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And I know everybody's got something. Places got fires right now, which are just terrible, and I hate
Yep.
to hear all that stuff for them. And you got other places dealing with earthquakes, and just it's always something. And you hate to see anybody going through it, but I'm definitely over the whole hurricane thing.
Oh, I would be too. I mean, the most I get over here in Arizona is just the heat.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks back, we got up to 120 degrees.
Yeah, and even that, man, you can't sleep on that heat thing either. That heat is something rough, because I
Oh
mean it
yes.
causes its own problems.
Oh, it's been a rough summer, and apparently this winter is going to be a pretty warm one too. But man, I'm so sick of the heat over here. It's got to cool down.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean, hey, 2020, it's the year of unpredictableness all around.
Oh
So
yeah, I mean, like you said, you got those fires in California that are still going on,
mm,
and there's even earthquakes going on in Southern California. And I don't know if you saw this or heard about this, but there was actually a volcano in Yellowstone that went off.
no, I didn't hear about that. I know there's tons of them that are just kind of waiting, and they're always watching them, which is always nerve wracking for anybody that has to worry about a volcano. I mean, like in this day and age, you wouldn't even think volcanoes would be something we would even be worried about. But places like Hawaii still have tons of
Yep,
volcanoes and
they do.
volcanic activity, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it went off. I'm not sure what day it was, but I saw a picture of the Yellowstone park, and there was just plumes of smoke coming from this one mountain. And I mean, it looked pretty bad, but like it wasn't to the point where like there was lava spilling everywhere. It wasn't nothing too threatening. It was just a lot of smoke coming out from it.
Hmm.
And then you got like the people that just discover that giant squid on the bottom of the ocean at like the Atlantic or the Antarctica side of the Earth, like down there. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the giant squid. I mean, man, 2020. It's been a crazy damn year, man.
Oh yeah, like that's what I said, man. And sadly we're not done yet. We're about to go into like what holiday season? I don't even know what holiday season is going to be like in a still in a pandemic, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. We're still in it. It's not over. It's not done. It's
Hmm.
not, So this is going to be crazy too. You're going to have people, not wanting to get together, and then not wanting to get together, and then the holiday stresses on top of a pandemic stress. It's just like, when does it
Yeah,
end, man? When
like
does it end?
imagine Thanksgiving and Christmas getting canceled.
Oh yeah, I mean, retail wise, we've already started to see places say that they're not doing Black Friday stuff. They're not doing these high what's the word I'm looking for? Like high
High,
bodied,
high, yeah.
having have high turnouts and stuff like that. They're already trying to nix that, which it took a pandemic for them to give people time with their families. Like it shouldn't have taken this, but here's where we are,
Well, they were wanting to do everything online.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of companies like Walmart, Target, like big, retailers like that. They're wanting to do everything online.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
that's
not?
going to put
Why
more
not?
stress on like the warehouse workers, though.
Well, yeah, from that aspect, yeah, you're going to keep people away from their families to do that, and so yeah, I mean, it's
Like
nothing's the right answer. That's the thing.
Amazon is still going crazy. I mean, they're struggling right now trying to find people for warehouse jobs
Oh
because
yeah,
they
yeah,
are just so busy, especially because everyone's like pretty much still in quarantine and everyone's like trying to stay home as much as possible. And then they got like people on TikTok that see all these cool things and then they order them. And I see a lot of videos on TikTok about like Amazon workers that are annoyed because people are ordering all these little things that they don't need in their lives, but they see it on TikTok and they're like, I gotta have it.
right.
And that's just more time for them to, bag it and ship it and all that stuff. And I know a lot of them are kind of annoyed by that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can see how. You're not looking out for people's well-being at that point. You're worried about the almighty dollar.
I
So.
mean, for me, like if I'm ordering something, I get stuff that I actually need. Like just the other day, I had to get a undercoat grooming brush for my dog because she was shedding way too much. So I had to go out and get that. Before that, it's like, I get stuff that I actually need, not stuff that I think it would be cool to have.
Right. Oh yeah.
Man, I just, I don't know, man. And then New Year's Eve, you got like New York. How is that going to work?
Mm-hmm.
You can't celebrate New Year's Eve and New Year's Day in Times Square if this pandemic is still going on.
Or you'll have people doing it anyway, and then the fight and the continued thing where people are partying and people are doing stuff against what they're supposed to be doing, which prolongs the pandemic in its entirety. And then you have people who don't want to believe that it's still a thing. I mean, it shouldn't have to get personal for people to believe it's a thing.
Right.
I mean, like I have friends that have lost family members, and I know people who work in places in the medical field that somebody was here this week and then 2 weeks later they got it and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not a thing that, conspiracy theories all aside, it's a real thing, and it shouldn't have to take you losing a loved one or someone close to you or someone you even know, even if you're not close to him. Maybe it's a guy you worked with. Well, he's gone now. It shouldn't have to take that for people to get serious about it. If people would have already been serious, we would have been out of the woods already with it. But,
Right. I mean, luckily for me, I don't really know anyone or like have any family members that have contracted the virus, but man, I can only imagine.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have a really good friend of mine who she just lost her father. So it's it's real, and then you got stuff like, Halloween's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Do we cancel Halloween? Because it would kind of be reckless to allow the kids to get candy from people that you don't know where they've been. You don't know
Exactly.
what they've been exposed to. You're opening the door again. But
right.
yeah, the kids have been through enough this year. They've been out of school. They've been this and that and this and that. Now they're back in school. They're wearing masks all day. They're washing their hands and this and this and that and that. But the thing is, it's being smart. And then a lot of people feel like it's taking away their normalcy instead of being smart, and that's there's no fixing that.
Yeah, I mean, we got to play it smart. Like, a lot of people just don't understand that, like, this is still going on. It's still a real thing. And a lot of people they're so against thinking that it's just all a hoax, that they don't want to protect themselves or protect others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get a lot of people that come into my job without a mask, even though it says right on the door before you come in, mask required.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, I forgot my mask. Like, you shouldn't forget your mask. You should have it on you at all times. You're out in public. Because not only when you come in are you exposing my employees, like my coworkers, but you're exposing yourself. You're exposing yourself to me. And I don't want to get sick off of you. I'm not going to die because of you. I'm going to die because of my own terms, not because of what your dumbass is doing.
Oh yeah. It's just, it's carelessness. You're just you're not looking out for your fellow person, and it's very effortless to just. Nobody likes wearing the mask. Nobody likes wearing the mask. Nobody likes having to do these things. But the longer the majority don't do them, the longer we have to do them.
Oh, and Arizona is still a pretty big hotspot for this virus. Same as like Florida. Florida's still up there also. Texas is another big one. Like, there's all these states that, and I live in one of them, that are hot spots, and not a lot of people care about it. They're just like, whatever. I don't have it right now, but, whatever.
Yep. They've moved us into phase 3, and everybody acts like it's over and done with already. And we've already been in and out of the phases multiple times already because of stupid things like that, whether it's churches holding big gatherings when they're not supposed to, or people who feel like their rights are being infringed on, so they're choosing not to be smart and not to do the things that they're supposed to be doing. So
right.
I don't know. I don't know, like I said, the right answer. I don't know if we'll ever see the same normalcy that we once knew. But I would like to be able to, live life again without having to have the constant back and forth of whether or not you should wear a mask or whether or not you should do the thing you should just do. Stop politicizing things that are things that you should just do because it's the right thing to do, and protecting yourself and it's protecting other people, and, who knows.
Yeah, there's a thing I've been hearing too is, for the people that do believe this is a hoax or something planned out by the government, they're saying that after the elections are over, that everything's going to go back to normal.
Yep,
that masks are not going to be required, that everything's going to open up back again, that everything's just going to be normal, which I find total just bullshit.
I have a hard time believing that too, but that's the mindset that that particular group of people are in, is that they feel like it's just going to stop. And I don't know if they'll admit when it doesn't, but I don't know. Do you want to do some type of outro, since we kind of ran a little bit longer on this one?
Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Matt, for coming on. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always fun to get on here and chit chat and stuff, and with us working and stuff, we hadn't been able to hang out as much on PlayStation and stuff as we were before. So
yeah, I mean we're both busy with our jobs, so
yeah, it's life, man. It's life.
Hopefully Brandon can come on next time, but man, I'm still kind of upset about that.
Yeah, well, it happens. At least we made it work for this episode, and then just keep pestering him well in advance again, and hopefully you can get him on next episode.
Yeah, nice. Season 3, it's here. Hope you guys enjoyed. I certainly did. Hour-long episode to start off season 3, not a bad time.
Yeah. had a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you again. We'll see you all in 2 weeks' time, and yeah, we're out. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't really have much planned today, but yeah, we'll do something. Well, anyway, guys, catch you later. And this is Midnight Lunatic signing out. Stay safe.